Catus Maximus here. This time with the $4 Pittsburgh electronic flush cutters. They have about, a 25-degree angle on them. Just made out of stamped steel. Kind of just semi-soft, who knows, like PVC handles or something like that. Jaws are a little bit wide, but they certainly seem plenty sharp. To tell you the truth, for somebody who just needs a real small, just compact set of flush cutters, I think for $4 they actually are reasonable. I'm sure the steel, they're just carbon steel. They're not going to be alloy steel, something like the American-made X-Lite 170Ms. They're not going to be quite as good as, say, the Doyles, like these. The Doyles are like $8. They're quite a bit more expensive. As far as how these cut, though, they cut just fine. And doing this simple little cutting operations, these things work just great, to tell you the truth. They do grind the back of the jaws flush against each other, so they do go really flat against the surface. And since the grind is on the back side, I mean, these things cut about as flush as you can get. We can see just a standard V angle there. Nothing too special, but for $4, I think they're okay. If we do compare, say, to the Doyles, we can see how much wider the jaws are. Compare to the Doyles. If we look at a little bit more closely at the tip, we can see that the tip is just a bit more blunt. And a nice little touch, the Doyles have a little chamfer there, so they can really get into tight spaces. Something that the X-Lites also do. They have like a little chamfer right there at the tip. Although we can see that the X-Lites, the chamfer isn't quite as good as even the Doyles, to tell you the truth. These are really squared off, so they are a little cheaper. But one thing another thing, these Doyles have a special washer. This is a Bellevue washer, so it's actually provides a little bit of pressure to help keep the handles tight, so that these two cutting edges always meet up evenly. What I will give credit for is I kind of like this spring design. This spring design actually isn't used much, even though it's very reliable. Allows you to put a large spring in there that provides a lot of force. I understand why they don't use them on things like these. The X-Lites have a little integrated spring. The Doyles have a little integrated spring. And it's because it adds a bunch of bulk to the back side of these types of pliers or cutters. So even though they have an angled head, many times this bulk can end up getting in the way. So that's why better pairs seem to use weaker style springs, such as these X-Lites or the Doyles, just so that it reduces the profile and the amount of bulk. So if you want some nice ones, you get like X-Lites or the Doyles. But for a lot of people, for $4, you can just get the Pittsburghs, and they'll do the flush cutting that you need for electronics work or hobbies and crafts or anything like that. So, just wanted to make a little video about them. Anyway, really appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Till next time, Catus Maximus out.